Welcome, listeners, to another exciting episode of the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. Buckle up because today we're taking flight into a whole new stratosphere of workforce development. Our guest is an absolute titan of talent cultivation, and she's a woman who's soaring at the Boeing company in Mesa, Arizona. She's not just building helicopters, she's sculpting the industry's future with an impressive network of partnerships from high schools to universities, veterans, and external technical affiliations. Let's give a big, warm manufacturing culture welcome to Tiffany Bellows. Now, Tiffany isn't just in the business of producing world-class helicopters. She's also been the architect of Boeing Mesa's first high school development program, where 4 high school CTE students have gotten the chance to be a part of the manufacturing and fabrication magic. Starting from the ground as a financial analyst, Tiffany has climbed up the ranks in her 20-year tenure at Boeing. With 4 rotation programs under her wings, over 10 different positions across multiple divisions, and leading 3 pivotal teams, she's shown that her career path has been a steady ascent and a thrilling roller coaster ride. Tiffany is also a proud Sun Devil with a bachelor's degree in finance and a master's of business administration from Arizona State University. Go Sun Devils. But she's not one to rest on her laurels. With her mantra of continuous improvement, she regularly hones her leadership skills by participating in various courses and culture teams. Off the clock, Tiffany is a proud resident of Gilbert, Arizona, where she's scoring touchdowns as a mom of 3 boys and an active volunteer in the Gilbert Youth Football League. And to mix things up, she loves exploring her neighborhood with her son and their trusty dog Tucker on litter picking walks. A trailblazer at work, a champion at home, and a steward of the environment. Is there anything Tiffany can't do? So without further ado, let's dive into the fascinating world of manufacturing culture and discover how Tiffany Bellows is shaping the future of Boeing, one high school student and one helicopter at a time. Strap in. This is going to be a good one. Hey, Tiffany, how are you doing today? Thanks for joining us. So happy you could be here.
Thanks for having me, Jim. I'm excited too.
This has been a long time coming. You and I talked, I think, in like February or March about having you on. Scheduling was, chaotic with your schedule, my schedule. So I'm glad we're finally here. This was one of the longest standing recording sessions. So I'm really excited to finally have you on today and have this conversation with you.
Me too. Excited to get going.
Awesome. So Tiffany, our listeners, typically we start off by, background on the company. I don't know if there's any listener out there who has not heard of Boeing. I know that you work in Arizona, which is more the Apache helicopter division of Boeing versus a commercial, which is elsewhere. So what inspired you to pursue a career in workforce development after such a storied career there at Boeing? And what do you find most rewarding about your work in this field?
Yeah, great question, Jim. So first off, Boeing has been here in Mesa, Arizona for 40 years. We are the home of the Apache helicopter and now the AH-6 Little Bird. So we have a lot of things happening here, great programs, great people. We're almost 5,000 employees and lots of exciting things and tons of opportunities, which really does lead into the answer of my question, of your question. This position really did find me. My leadership team valued my ability to develop partnerships and creatively find ways to grow our workforce. The most rewarding part for me is helping candidates find their dream job. When I get a LinkedIn message or a text from an employee thanking me for helping them find their new position, it makes me smile literally ear to ear. They put in the work, but I just shared the opportunity with them.
Yeah.
Loving the work you do doesn't really make it feel like work. right? And the more employees that feel that way, the happier this workplace will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. So how has your experience in different positions and rotations at the Boeing Mesa facility shaped your approach to developing those talent pipelines and building a strong company culture there?
So I've been an engaged employee here only at Boeing Mesa for almost 21 years. In August will be my anniversary.
Okay.
The varying disciplines and business units have helped me witness assorted styles of leadership, different views of how we run the business, and diverse cultures at Boeing sites across the country. I've luckily had the opportunity to travel and visit many of those sites across the country.
That's
But
awesome.
here in Mesa, we have such a strong family culture. Everyone here is super helpful. We're so open to supporting one another, volunteering to lead a project, and having fun. I think a lot of it has to do with the culture of Arizona and how it's always been kind of a melting pot, right? Made up of residents from other states.
Yeah.
People move here and they make new friends, which eventually become like family to them. And Boeing Mesa is a mini example of that through and through.
Absolutely, and it's wild. I mean, professionally, I'd never seen a Hawaiian shirt in a facility before I came to Arizona. So, yeah, I get it. It's a very unique place, but I'd agree. I think that lends to that kind of unique culture for some of the organizations that call this home.
Right. So speaking of shirts, Jim, just FYI, today is Friday. We're recording this on Friday, and it is Red Friday. So we remember everyone deployed, which is RED. So you'll see a lot of red shirts around the site on Fridays. I'm wearing mine today.
Awesome. I now I need to add this to like the prep work for because I am not wearing red and I feel woefully unprepared. So I need to start asking, are there theme days on Fridays? And if so, when we record, what is your theme? Okay, I like
Perfect.
it. I will remember that. If I ever come visit you on a Friday, I will wear red.
Good. Good idea.
Can you talk more about the high school development program you helped implement at Boeing Mesa? And how has this program impacted both the students involved and the company as a whole?
Well, what an undertaking. Boeing Mesa has never hosted high school students for more than just a tour before. And since we already have an enterprise-wide college internship program, I
Mhm.
wanted this program to be for students who weren't planning on attending college right away. I learned about Elevate Ed, AZ's model, and fell in love with it. They have CTE career coaches embedded in the high schools, and the program framework already laid out. We just needed to say yes. So, my initial strategy was for manufacturing and fabrication to host these students. Initially, I wanted to start small with maybe one or two interns, but I had four shops raise their hands. They were very excited to participate. The planning and management team learned so much as we worked through these requirements, interviewing, contracting, training, and managing high school students on second shift. The students are on the shop floor, part of the team, getting hands-on experience of our manufacturing and quality processes and systems. They also have numerous opportunities to practice communication, time management, and networking skills in the workplace. I personally meet with them twice a month, and I invite engineers and pilots to be guest speakers. The students have even had a chance to fly the Apache in our simulator. It
Wow.
has been such a great learning experience, not only for the students, but the teams and managers here on site. Everyone is excited to host the next round, which we just announced. We will have 7 next year. So we're moving on up from 4 this year to 7.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you.
And I mean, yes, I'm a huge fan of Elevate Ed myself. I think it's something that's been missing in Arizona for the last couple of years, and just an amazing program overall. Um, but I want to talk about that simulator. Is that something I could get into if I came out and did a tour with you?
We'll see, Jim. We'll talk.
I mean, who do you have to know to fly an Apache simulator? Come on.
Obviously, me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, Tiffany, how do you approach building these partnerships with different organizations and institutions across Arizona to create that network of support for your workforce development efforts? And what have you found to be some of those most effective strategies that might be able to be replicated across the industry?
Yeah, this is a good question, Jim. So, first, I find out what their needs are or the type of workforce they can support.
Mm.
Find out information from them. Then I share what we do here at Boeing Mesa, and already my head is starting to formulate a partnership or a plan, and then I share how we can partner. Some common options are internships, of course, career fairs, classroom presentations, on-site tours, panel participation, etc. My first month in this position, which was only over a year ago, I drafted 5 strategic pipelines where we should partner or develop programs. You mentioned a few of them in my introduction. Those 5 are community colleges and tech schools, universities, high schools, military, and diversity conferences.
Mm.
Our partnership with Elevate at AZ, Mesa Public Schools, and the community colleges have been the most fruitful. It's a delicate balance between pipelines for manufacturing and engineering, since the degree requirements are so vast.
Sure.
We have so many different types of jobs here at Boeing Mesa that our future workforce really can come from any source, offering a wide variety of skills and experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of a follow up to that, how has Boeing Mesa adapted to that changing workforce landscape of the last couple of years, and what steps have you taken to attract and retain that top talent, maybe beyond this high school development program, or is that your main purview, I guess?
Yes, it is. In addition to another position that Boeing Mesa leadership created. So my position is titled Workforce Stability Leader, and then I report to our Culture and Engagement Leader. And she focuses internally to reinvigorate our culture and increase recognition options. And I focus externally to attract our future workforce. We both partnered together in addition with our community investor and our government operations focals as well, to make sure that we're all stitched in with what's happening locally and across the state, from a government perspective and corporate investing partnership perspective.
Sure.
In addition to my position, the fabrication team has identified some high performing employees and stood up a fabrication workforce team. So my partner in crime, Georgia Papa, leads that team for the whole country. And
Wow.
she has a couple focals here in Arizona, Paul Perkins and Jenna Burns, that really do help me out with that community college and high school partnerships, really targeting that, the technician role, any of the roles that we would be hiring for one of our 3 centers of excellence, electrical, composite, and metals. And I would be remiss if I wouldn't give a shout out to my BCA workforce partners up in Washington. They've been fighting this good fight for way longer than I have. I've been learning from them and hope to replicate some of their amazing efforts that they do up in Washington, down here in Arizona as well.
Awesome. Sounds like a
Perfect.
heck of a great team. So let's focus on culture for a little bit here. Can you share any success stories of certain individuals or teams that you have worked with who have really excelled in their careers thanks to the workforce development initiatives and strong company culture there at Boeing?
Yes, so in addition to my high school students, which are also just so fantastic, and that program is so great, Boeing also participates in the Department of Defense's Skill Bridge program. This program allows military service members who are within 6 months of active duty release to participate in training and development with industry. So Boeing has an enterprise team that manages the portal of thousands of applicants we receive across the country. Since I started in this position over a year ago, I've helped 6 veterans find a hosting manager, personally matched them with a hosting manager, and they've all received full-time offers. Today was actually a great day. I had 2 hires start today. And so in addition to those other 4, they all love it here. They
That's
love sharing their
awesome.
successes with their former military buddies, their spouses, and really other veterans on site as well.
That's awesome. And I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to bridge that skills gap, right? Is to create a culture that is inviting to people so they go out and talk about it, and then you get
Hmm.
more applicants, right? I mean, that's
Correct.
really amazing. That's awesome.
Correct.
So, what advice would you give to other companies looking to prioritize those kinds of workforce development efforts and build a positive, supportive culture for their employees?
So first step would be to dedicate resources to this new endeavor. It is it is a team effort to move this mountain, but dedicating 1 to 2 people that can shape the strategy, form partnerships, and lead initiatives is paramount. Make it
Sure.
their full-time position. To further shape the pipeline, they'll need to define the skill set they need. If it doesn't exist naturally externally, create training that students or adults changing careers can get prior to employment. Introductory hands-on classes offered via CTE programs at the high schools or career college and prep schools or even community colleges is a great way to shape a pipeline. Once it's established, recruiters can point interested candidates to that class. Then your workforce team can go and share opportunities with those students
Hmm.
and then let the hiring process take over from there whenever staffing needs exist.
Awesome. So, uh, one of the things that you talked about in that last answer was trainings, right? And so, when I look at the technology that's being developed in this industry and the future of what this industry looks like, how has technology impacted workforce development in the manufacturing industries, and what steps has Boeing taken to stay current and innovative in that area?
So this probably isn't the type of answer you're looking for, but from a technology perspective, I think the biggest impact on workforce and culture initiatives is really social media. It's
Interesting.
not the technology we're using to develop or put the aircraft together. It really is the social media and recruiting and that workforce development piece. So before I took over this position, we revamped our Facebook page. It's called One Mesa, One Team. Go ahead and follow us.
I,
And we've shifted more towards LinkedIn about sharing all our great workforce efforts and highlighting open requisitions. LinkedIn has been fantastic to connect with such a large, diverse audience of potential candidates and workforce partners.
that you It's not that I didn't want that answer. It's just that not the answer that I expected, right? When people
I don't
think of
really have
Boeing,
an answer for the technology piece of it.
yeah,
So,
but I think that's absolutely fascinating that when you who's developed this program and implemented such a valuable program, the technology you think of is social media, and it's surrounding the people strategies and the humans that are part of the organization and not necessarily the processes or the profits, and I think that's
right,
fascinating and really cool.
right, for sure.
um so what kind of challenges or obstacles have you faced when implementing this program, and how have you overcome them?
Well, most challenges have been good ones so far,
Good.
like having more qualified candidates than we can hire. Uh,
Really?
staffing needs staffing needs can fluctuate. So figuring out what to say to candidates that have maybe taken a boot camp at the community college or haven't found the right requisition to apply to has been challenging. Uh, Developing these new talent pipelines are often uncharted territories, which mean that processes are undocumented. But having a strong sense of where you want to go will help shape the how you get there, even though no one has done it until now.
So, Tiffany, how does Boeing Mesa measure success of this program, other workforce development initiatives, and what metrics, if you can tell us, do you use to track that progress?
Our overall goal is to have primed talent pipelines for when we have staffing needs. It's also a balance between brand awareness and immediate staffing needs.
Mhm.
So, increasing awareness within our local community that Boeing is here in Mesa, the more candidates will apply, whether that be now or in the future. We have been more invited to more career fairs and classroom presentations than probably ever before. So that is
Sure.
definitely a testament that the Valley knows Boeing is here.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And that's where you and I met, right? Way back
Mhm.
at Westwood High School earlier this year,
Yep.
and seen each other at a couple other events throughout the course of this last semester. So look forward to working with you in the next school year as well.
Yep.
Um, so how do you ensure that company culture is inclusive and welcoming to employees from diverse backgrounds and experiences? And by you, I mean more the royal you,
Mhm.
you and Boeing.
This is the primary goal of our culture and engagement leader. She plans frequent engagement activities, various forms of recognition programs, and works with our 9 resource groups to plan events on site. This includes friendly team competitions such as cornhole, pickleball, basketball. Resource groups here at Boeing are voluntary, employee driven groups committed to enriching and strengthening Boeing's culture through their communities and allies. They are open to everyone and a great way to learn more about other cultures or plan events with those sharing a common background. Resource groups are a fun way to expand your network and get exposure to site leadership.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Tiffany, we've talked a lot about the high school development program, um, but can you talk about any specific training or development programs that Boeing offers to help employees advance in their careers and reach their full potential for those current employees?
Sure thing. So, manufacturing and fabrication positions start off with 2 weeks of Boeing certification training. Once the technician is assigned to a program, they get paired with a mentor who assists them on the shop floor. They then go through our structured on the job training program that's made up of 3 parts:
Okay.
demonstrate the task, build the task together, then build on their own. And these steps are repeated until the technician shows proficiency. Besides these amazing continuing education benefits that Boeing provides, aka tuition assistance, is available on day 1 of hard badge hire.
Oh, wow.
Uh, Mesa participates in almost every development rotation program, including one that's homegrown. The Career Opportunity Program, aka COP, is a 2-year program that provides personal development opportunities, plus job rotations into an office environment. So it's a great program for manufacturing and fab employees to rotate to a job they're interested in that fits the degree they're obtaining off the shop floor.
That's awesome.
There are also entry level rotation programs for finance, quality, HR, and IT, to name a few. And as employees progress through their careers, they can apply for the Leadership Next program. This is a 2-year development program for high performing and high potential non managers who aspire to move into formal or technical leadership.
Awesome. That's so cool. So how have you fostered a sense of community and teamwork among those employees, and why is that important to the overall success of the organization?
Well, first and foremost, all levels of employees and management have to be engaged for this to be successful.
Yeah.
Culture change is hard, and it takes everyone being on the same page for it to work. We've created a new operating rhythm here where site leadership shares events, priorities, staffing projections, development programs, etc., to ensure that all leaders are in the know and getting help where needed. Our employees are also ready to engage again, and it shows. They're ready to get out there and share the great things we're doing here at Boeing Mesa. They have been all in when it comes to on-site competitions and volunteering on and off-site for tours or school visits.
That's so cool. And I will say, culture change is hard. And it's something that has to be lived on every level of the organization, or else it doesn't work, right? Whatever that culture ends up being for individual organizations, right? What may be a good culture for you may not be the best culture for me, and vice versa. It's all about those values, and it's really neat to see you guys pulling and grabbing and aligning with so many different people on the values between the organization, the leadership team, and people out on the shop floor and the technicians. That's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
So Tiffany, I just have a couple more questions. How do you ensure that the skills and knowledge that employees gain through workforce programs are aligned with the current and future needs of the organization?
We created a people utilization board, and that the job of that board is to ensure that our internal partnership is strong first. We meet every month, and it keeps the workforce and development needs in the forefront of everyone's mind. Leaders are sharing staffing needs, and I, as the workforce stability leader, am creating partnerships outside of Boeing to fill those needs.
Right on. That's awesome. So, Tiffany, the last question that I have for you is there any parting comments that you want to make to our guests?
Um, let's see. I'd say parting comments, Jim, is throw the box away, right? Not just
Yeah.
think outside the box, but throw the box away. Um, I was a leader of the recognition team as part of a culture team a few years ago before COVID happened. And we had focus groups for the site to figure out how they wanted to be recognized, right? It's how you're going to change the culture or shift the culture is going to come from your employees, not from leaders sitting around a boardroom table. So I put together programs in place that gave the people what they wanted, how they wanted to be recognized, and I did it for no money because
That's awesome.
most recognition that employees want doesn't cost any money, and that will shape your culture. And not just so that's the retain part, right?
Hmm.
But the attract part is sharing what you're doing externally, sharing all those new partnerships, having people come on site and school camps or suppliers or what have you, having them tour your site, show the awesome things you're doing, and then show the employees that you're doing those things, because those things get employees excited again.
Yeah,
Um, they get excited about what they're doing and the impact they're having. And the more so it kind of ties into the attract, right? And then the more excited employees you attract and hire, that's contagious. It'll start to spread. So,
absolutely.
um, throw the box away, find that one person in your organization that really has a true passion for this,
Yeah,
and let them run with it.
I love it. That's a great message, and absolutely proven fact that if you let the employees steer those efforts, you'll ultimately win. And that's awesome. Thanks for that.
Agree.
Um, so, folks, there you have it. That's a wrap on another awesome episode of the Manufacturing Culture Podcast. We have been privileged to spend time today with the inspiring Tiffany Bellows, diving deep into the fascinating world of workforce development. Thank you, Tiffany, so much for being on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. From taking off at Boeing Mesa to launching their first high school development program, we got an insider's view of the strategies and tactics that make Tiffany a force in her field. We discussed the powerful partnership she's built, the changing landscape of the workforce, and the importance of diversity and inclusion in the workplace. It's clear that Tiffany is always looking to the horizon, ready for the next challenge. Are you ready for a replay or want to explore other episodes? Just fly on over to manufacturingculturepodcast.com to find recent episodes and more. You can also find the entire back catalog on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. And if you enjoyed our journey today, we'd love for you to share this episode with your friends and colleagues. It's not for our ego, it's for the algorithms of all the podcast platforms. When I get a rating, it launches us up the charts and more people listen. It keeps us motivated to continue bringing you these conversations and stories and journeys from leaders across our awesome industry. So that's all for today, folks, but we're already gearing up for our next adventure. Until then, have a great day and keep making things.